Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I'm Peter Gross, co-host of the original Wild Kingdom with Marlin, Perkins, and Jim Fowler. When Wild Kingdom aired in the 1960s and 70s, many episodes documented wildlife research efforts. Marlin and Jim accompanied scientists all over the world to observe animals and their natural behaviors. Some of the techniques you'll see in tonight's episodes are no longer necessary by today's standards, but the work is still just as important. Wild Kingdom took viewers to the far corners of the world and cultivated an appreciation for animals and their habitats. Marlin and Jim showed us the importance of preserving the natural world, not just for animals, but for our quality of life. And that's good news for all of us in the Wild Kingdom. So sit back and enjoy Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Of Omaha's Wild Kingdom is presented by Mutual of Omaha.
Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. At one time or another, Stan Brock and I have encountered just about all of Africa's big game animals, and I think we'd have a difficult time choosing the most dangerous. But many people place this animal at the top of the list, the African buffalo. Mbogo, the natives call him. He's strong and courageous and a real threat when challenged. But challenging Mbogo is exactly what Stan and I hope to do, as we took part in an unusual research project in Rhodesia with game researcher Mark Sparrow. Stan, looks like you're wired for sound.
This is sound of a very special kind. Listen. While the sound of my heart is recorded, each beat is being traced by this electrocardiograph. Now, heart tracings like this can tell doctors a great deal about our health. And Mark Sparrow thought that in the same way, he could learn much about the health of wild animals by using a portable machine like this to take their heart tracings in the field.
Mark was studying some of the continent's largest animals, including the African buffalo. The problem, of course, was to capture a wild buffalo and hold it still long enough to attach these leads. Stan and I flew out to Africa to join Mark on safari here in Rhodesia. At our safari base camp, we've built a large capture compound, a temporary home for some of the many animals being studied in this research project. The compound's also used by the project director, Mark Sparrow, to house the growing menagerie of young orphaned animals he's found on his trips through the surrounding country. Here's the latest arrival, a banded mongoose that's become a remarkably affectionate pet. This ground hornbill is recovering from a broken wing. It's also quite tame. Like most of the animals Mark keeps here, it's adapted quickly to the new surroundings. Normally, the hornbill uses those keen eyes to hunt insects, but now it's become an expert catcher of corn. Just beyond the compound fence, a troop of baboons has moved in. This compound is at the edge of the troop's territory, and Mark makes it a practice to feed the baboons whenever they come near. The corn seems a welcome change in their usual diet of seeds and roots, or insects, they find under overturned rocks. The troop is ruled by the dominant males, and they're taking first pick of the corn. Banding together gives baboons good protection from their enemies, but there are continual struggles for dominance. The troop hierarchy is based on brute force, and the leader is always the strongest male. That's enough corn. If we feed them too much, the troop may begin to depend on us for food. Baboons are fascinating to watch at close quarters like this, but we'll soon be searching for bigger game. Stan has been out since early morning scouting the bush for signs of buffalo. He should be back before long. Looks like Mark needs some help. These antelope are both orphans. Their mothers killed by predators. They're too young to be weaned, and they'd have starved if Mark hadn't captured them and brought them here. This young Inyala is a very rare antelope. The sable, too, is becoming scarce simply because it's a favorite of hunters. Both the Inyala and the sable have become quite tame. They've lost the instant reflexes and fear-sharpened senses that are their only real protection against predators in the wild. So they'll live their lives in comfortable captivity. But their feeding will be interrupted today because Stan's returning from his scouting trip.
There's no sign of buffalo out on the grassy plain near camp, but there are fresh tracks left by a herd of wildebeest, another animal whose heartbeat Mark wants to record for his study. If we can follow the herd's trail, we may be able to catch one of the big antelope. But first, we've got another job to do. Mark's study centers on the larger African animals, and he wants to take the electrocardiogram of his prize boarder here at the capture compound, a 5-year-old elephant whose mother was killed by ivory poachers. If Mark hadn't found him, Tembo would have been easy prey for lion. He doesn't seem to mind all the extra attention.
With the electrocardiograph, we can learn a great deal about Tembo's heart. As in humans, the upper part of the young elephant's heart sends out tiny electrical impulses, which cause the heart muscle to contract, to beat. We can pick up these impulses with the sensors we're attaching. Listening to the heart sounds can also reveal much. This recording stethoscope is being used for the first time in the project. The EKG machine is working perfectly, tracing the heart's electrical impulses on a graph, while the stethoscope records the actual heart's sounds. Later, the tape recording of these sounds will combine with the electrocardiogram to give scientists a picture of the heart's function. The equipment all seems to be in good working order for our field work.
I doubt if all our subjects will be as cooperative as Tembo. He's more interested in the corn he's eating than anything else. An elephant this old already eats an enormous amount of food. Tembo weighs close to 1,000 pounds. The elephant's size and weight is reflected in his heart rate, much slower than a human's. Naturally, tame animals are usually quite calm, and the heartbeat shows that too. But Mark wants to study an animal's heart reactions under the conditions of extreme stress that's encountered when a wild animal is attacked by a predator. The only way to do that is to chase the animal ourselves, rope and tie it, and measure its heartbeat while it is still excited. That's our plan, and it promises to be a real challenge, with wildebeest or African buffalo. Wildebeest are grazers, and the herd's tracks lead through this tall grass. Ostrich. These are only 3/4 grown. Young birds this size often leave the adults and form their own flock. We're after bigger game, and the trail leads ahead.
In the car, we searched for signs of wildebeest or buffalo. Several herds roamed the country near our camp. Both buffalo and wildebeest often graze out on these plains, but the wildebeest tracks lead into the bush ahead. There's proof this is buffalo country, a skull, a big one.
The animal's bones have been scattered by jackal and hyena, but it must have been a huge bull, judging from the size of the skull. If lions got this buffalo, it took more than one cat to kill him. A bull this large could stand off or even kill a single lion. Mbogo usually travels in big herds and he's easy to trail, but there are no fresh buffalo tracks here, only wildebeest. We've startled a herd of impala with a wildebeest running alongside. It's a great sight, but we'd better move on. The trail is very fresh and the herd must be close. There they are, in the trees ahead. Wildebeest are one of the swiftest of all the antelope. They won't be easy to catch. No good. My horse can't stay with them. The horse just isn't fast enough. The wildebeest pull away easily whenever I get within lasso range. There's a large bull, perfect for Mark's study.
Our only chance is to chase the animal with the car and tire it out so the horse can catch it. He's got tremendous speed. He does over 40 miles an hour when he really turns it on. He's beginning to tire. We'll keep the pressure on to wear him down so Stan can lasso him. Good, he's slowing. Stan is pulling into lasso range.
He's roped. Now to stop him. What fantastic balance. It seems almost impossible to pull him off his feet. The best way to throw this fellow down is to tangle his legs and trip him. It won't be easy. He's extremely agile. It will only be seconds before he gets his wind back and tries to get up. He's exhausted, and he can't get leverage to stand with my roping horse holding the line taut. That does it. Now to record the heart sounds. Mark's already made a heart tracing of a wildebeest, but this is our first chance to tape the sound of the antelope's heart.
The heart's beating very fast, but we're also picking up breathing noise. We're not getting a good recording. The sound of air rushing in and out of the lungs is obscuring the sound of his heartbeat. That will have to do. We don't want to keep the animal tied too long, or it might injure itself as it struggles. The wildebeest may charge when it gets up. We'll clear the area before releasing him.
These animals are usually quite timid, but they're real fighters when they feel threatened. The idea is to be out of the way when the wildebeest is back on his feet. I've tied the animal with special knots that I can pull loose from a distance. He's in fine shape, but in no mood for another chase. We've had poor luck recording the heartbeat of a wildebeest, but we may do better with the African buffalo. We've picked up the trail of a large buffalo herd, and the tracks lead down a slope that's much too steep for the car to follow. Apparently the animals came this way to drink in the Lundy River, but there are none here now, only hippos. Hippos may seem ponderously large, but they can move quickly, and those tusks make them deadly fighters. You often see the bulls in great territorial battles. As always, the river is a center of life. A white heron and a cormorant share this quiet pool, and more hippos are moving in. Hippos graze along the shore, but they live mainly in the water, establishing territories there. Each bull defends his home boundaries vigorously, but things seem peaceful now. Judging from this trail, it hasn't been long since the buffalo left the river, and chances are the herd won't wander far from the water. They usually drink twice a day. Mark's found more tracks where the animals left the water hole, and the trail leads to the bush country dead ahead. Our search is over. A large herd grazing in the tall grass. If we approach too quickly, we may stampede them. The herd's escaping the day's heat in the shade of the trees, ruled over by a massive bull. There's what we're looking for, a solitary animal. This is a cow, and we'll approach her slowly to get as near as we can before beginning the chase. Buffaloes have good speed, but she'll wear down quickly, probably within 100 yards. You never argue when a buffalo's ready to charge. Good. My bluff worked. She's running again. The buffalo's slowing now, and my horse can close the gap easily. What tremendous strength! The rope might snap if I let the buffalo dig in and pull. The idea is to keep working her till she's temporarily winded. Then pull her off her feet. This is the most critical time. If she's able to stand, she'll charge. Now is when you know the value of a good roping horse. She's trying to get up, but holding the rear leg keeps her from planting her feet. There, that's got the back legs. Now for the front. The job would be impossible without my horse holding the lasso tight.
We've got an ideal animal for our project. Big and strong and in perfect health. The first job is attaching the leads from the electrocardiograph. They're coated with an adhesive that holds them in place. So far, so good. The big question now is whether all that kicking will loosen the knots. With ropes pulling in two opposite directions, the buffalo's kept off balance. She seems to be settling down. Now maybe we can record her heartbeat. We're picking up lung noises again, but Mark's machine is working perfectly, tracing each electrical impulse generated within the heart. That should be enough. Now to release the animal.
Letting her go may require more care than catching her. When an African buffalo charges, not much can stop it, and we don't want to be near when Mbogo gets back on her feet. There's a good chance she'll be looking for a fight, but I'll have a good head start if she is. Now to release her and return to camp with the record of her heartbeat, the prize we were after on our Mbogo safari.
Mark was able to record the heartbeat of 3 animals while Stan and I were with him, but it will be some time before his studies begin to result in significant new information. The work is difficult, slow, and sometimes dangerous, and a great deal of additional field research must be done before the data Mark gathers can be studied and analyzed. But though the job is often tedious and filled with hardships and hazards, it is never dull. Always present is the challenge of preserving life in the world's wild places and the satisfaction of unlocking the remaining secrets of the wild kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha has presented Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Like what you saw? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more exclusive content. And visit our website at wildkingdom.com.